crazy. Nice. It's incredible. Nice boat. Is this boat moving?
We'll find out.
Yes. Very nice arrangement. This is great. So this boat looks pretty pristine. Hi there, this is Captain Q and my old sailing buddy Randy. Join us as we travel hither and yon as we look for some great deals on classic boats and learn a little with each one.
Hey, Captain.
Randy.
Oh.
Randy, come on over here. You gotta check this out.
What do you got?
This is the biggest chart plotter I've seen to date. It's unbelievable. Look at the sizes.
It looks state of the art.
It is state of the art.
For 1972.
Yeah. It's amazing though, isn't it really wonderful? So we shouldn't fool with it, right?
No.
Anyway, so today we have a pretty extraordinary opportunity to look at a nice low-range size boat, perfect for the young family or couples that want to get out and do a little cruising, and they don't want to forget anything on shore, because this boat has everything put on it.
Oh, cool.
And you know what? She's also fast. She's a 26-footer. She's built by Paceship, and she may well have been built in Connecticut. It's a little fuzzy as to where Paceships started out and where they ended up.
What year was she born?
This was built in 1979.
Okay.
And that was just after AMF bought a holding company called Abco, which owned Paceship. And that company had purchased it from something called the Mahone Bay Plycraft Company, which was the original, that was the germ of the whole company back in the 50s. And then Mahone Bay Plycraft had that, they manufactured kit boats out of wood for amateurs to build.
Yep.
They also offered finished boats in wood. I don't know much about them, and they were built by International Shipping Company, ISC. ISC ended up going along for a while until about 1956 when their building burned down, and so they rebuilt. But it was just about the time in the late 50s when fiberglass was coming to fruition throughout the marine world, and they said, let's build boats out of fiberglass. So they were among the early adapters to fiberglass construction, and a wing of their company was called, they broke off, called Paceships. I had a Paceship. We talked about that. I think we have an episode on the Paceship Chance Design 3228.
Yep.
Really well done. Perfect boat. Wasn't a Hinckley, but it wasn't at the low end of the scale. It was right in the middle, and it served everything well, and it was well designed and well built. Now, the boat we're going to look at today was called a Paceship 26, and it's so roomy that when Paceship finally broke up, which is about 1982 or so, it got sold off. And they sold the molds away, and they sold the mold for this to the Tanzer Corporation, which then remolded their hulls and called it a Tanzer 27. Enough of that yakking. Let's take a little look underneath here. What do you say?
Yeah, let's see what we got.
We love the subscribers.
Yeah, more subscribers means that we're going to get recommended to more people, and so that helps spread the love and spread the word about old classic boats and what we're doing, so every little bit helps.
Thanks again. This is an outboard rudder. I mean, truly an outboard rudder. She's set up just like a dinghy. Has a nice gudgeon here and a pintle. This is the pintle that drops down in there, and likewise up there. It's just a nice, easy way to hang a rudder off the stern of a boat. And this far back, you're going to have a lot of control on it, aren't you? A lot of control steering going upwind, downwind. This particular rudder, we're told, is a new rudder. It's not the original rudder. They had a high-tech rudder, so the section on this is different than the original piece. And I don't have the original in front of me to compare it, but just so you know that. And it's run by a tiller, and it's up in that blue sock up there.
It seems unusual for a 26-footer to have davits.
Well, it is, but that's a hint of what you're about to find out about the boat.
Okay.
I'll give you the full bore. Over the course of the ownership, these people put into this boat reportedly $75,000.
Wow.
A 25-foot boat.
Wow.
It's really quite remarkable. But they had a great time with it. They cruised it a lot, and unfortunately, they both became ill, and then one got better, and then the other soulmate didn't get better and passed away, and so now they would like to have this boat move into some loving hands somewhere. Got a nice, I think about a 15-inch 3-blade prop. It's going to push you like crazy. We have a line cutter here that's almost dull, so I think they've probably been using this a little bit. I've never been able to do this to one of these line cutters with my finger before. Usually it takes skin off before I get away from it. So that's the status there. I'm not seeing any random movement in the cutlet. Oh, maybe there's...
Oh, really tiny.
It feels pretty tight.
Yeah.
Maybe if there were more of me, I could make it shake. A couple of zincs, and these are wasted. These need to be replaced. There's no reason to carry on with them. Well, the boat's out of the water, just unbolt and put 2 new ones on.
You do that about every year anyway?
Well, it depends what they look like, but probably, yeah. I don't know what these are, $15
yeah,
each maybe?
$10, $15.
This boat was designed, by the way, by John Decknatel of Ray Hunt Associates. For our mavens out there who study not only Captain Q, but other boats on the market, you will see when you look at the cabin trunk on this, there's a little hint of Decknatel's lines that he's drawn, and you'll see O'Day boats with very similar cuts to them. They're like little secret signatures of architects. Everybody has something different to it. She's not totally flat here. She's kind of full down in her bilge, so I'm expecting we'll probably see a little bit of bilge in her. The keel is a rake cast iron keel on this boat, which I was surprised to find out. I thought they would have put lead, but cast iron. It's a cost-saving device.
Anything you have to watch out for with cast iron?
No, just keep it coated. Yep. This is old paint that's chipped off, and I think that looks almost like a zinc coating on there already. That probably ought to be polished up. So it wouldn't hurt to blast this. You can see a little separation line here, but that's just because this is not a piece of that. So
right.
It's not unnatural. And a tiny one up here, but this is more the bedding compound issue than I think a problem with hitting bottom. You can see down here that she's cast iron. See the rust on the bottom? That should be taken care of. I'd blast that and give it a good undercoating and start fresh. But generally, overall, the bottom paint is pretty smooth. And if you look down the line here, you'll see it looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
There's like more than one layer on there, but it's all been put on well.
We've seen a lot worse, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Up forward, she's a little deep in her entry. And this is going to give us a bit of a musher on this boat, aren't we?
Oh, nice, yeah.
Thin keel with a bit of a musher to it. So we haven't seen one of these for a while. We haven't talked about our old musher buddies, but I think this is going to be a nice, comfortable ride. One nice thing in here, I noticed there's etched in here is the line for the bottom paint. And that's etched right in the mold, which is really nice. And same thing for the boot top right here. Nice thing about that is when you come to refresh it, it's easy to tape up and paint. Oh yeah, well she has a head on board, we know that, and a holding tank, but she does have a place for exhaust for the head, and I'm presuming that's in this area, and here's an intake for the water right here. And you always want the water intake in front of this, don't you?
Upstream is good, yeah.
And you certainly don't want to pump it in when you're backing up the boat. I've read statistics where she's faster than a number of the cows, CNCs, her size range, and so forth, so she has a good turn of speed. Now, what do you think?
It's time to go.
Do you like my new ladder?
Oh, it's fancy.
Look at it, sort of comes out of itself here. Oh, Randy, down here, buddy. Come on down.
Yeah.
Here I am. Listen, I don't have a wheel to get behind today. I just have, this is called a tiller, okay?
Yep.
And it's connected directly to the rudder. You see that?
Yeah.
And you can lift it up out of your way when you don't want to use it or you're in port, which is kind of nice because you can't do that with a wheel, can you?
No.
And you see this little button right here? Oh, wait a minute. This little button right here takes a Ray Marine arm tiller.
Okay.
Tiller arm. And so you've got an autopilot on that. And the nice thing about this autopilot, it's all a self-contained unit. It has a couple of wires that go down to your juice, but it comes up, it has its own compass setting inside that you set for your course. and it just goes, it's like my arm right here. If my arm were the machine, this would be it. That's all that'd be in the cockpit.
Your arm is a machine.
Thank you. That's kind of cool because, you know, without having all the gizmos and wiring of an Autohelm 3000 or something down underneath the cockpit, that's all you have right there. Everything in this boat is set up for a single-handed sailor. We got a set of 4-spar dinghy davits on the stern. Pretty unusual on a 26-foot boat, we must say. You've got a nice sized cockpit. It's not overly generous, but it's good enough, and you can reach the other side with your feet. So you can be braced in here, sailing on, and being very comfortable. The engine controls is just simply a tachometer down here, and I think that's a fuel tank gauge underneath it. Down in the cockpit down here is a diesel fuel tank fill, and that's kind of nice because you will tend not to pour diesel fuel into the ocean when you top. The scuppers, this is great. It's got one big one back here, and all the water that might collect in the cockpit is going back to this one central drain, and because of the design of that, it's going to capture the water so it doesn't roll around under your feet before it goes out. It'll just go back there and sit and then drain out at its own time. Very nice arrangement. Let's get this open. Now, here we've got a on-deck shower arrangement because they do not have a shower below. They have a head but no shower below. Okay. And the concept was just a shower up here. Let's see what we got on this side for you. Nice size storage sail bin, as we used to call it. Here are your battery boxes. It's a really nice plastic waterproof battery box, and it is vented too, so that if any fumes build up in there, you know, they won't last. So that's great, nice, neat, and tidy. And this is screwed down. I can see right now, see in the bottom of the bin down there, the screw right down there.
Yep.
So these are screwed down, they're not going anywhere. You snap this top on, and no matter what happens in a seaway, that top is going to stay in place. Single speed, self-tailing winch. You don't need very big winches. These are not big sails. This is not really a big boat, but this will more than handle it. Here's a plug. There's probably a GPS map charter right here. I had a Cal 27 one time, and it was the same kind of thing with a tiller helm, and I put one and another one here because when you're on one side of the boat, you can't read that very well if I'm over here. So anybody that would buy this boat, I suggest adding another compass right here. It's got Raymarine wind instruments and so forth. Here's your apparent wind indicator. That looks pretty fresh. That's all top of the line. And this little guy down here, so that's just a very simple depth sounder. Oh. There's going to be one big fat number in there. It says, you know, you are too shallow. So that's nice. They put in a 110 system on the boat, which didn't have one originally. So this is your shore power hookup. Oh yeah. Right there. That's an add-on.
It's a garage door opener.
That is your garage door opener. I'll buy that. Would you like to take a look forward?
I would.
All right, well, why don't you follow me up? Let's go see what they got up there. Is this boat moving, or is it just my...
We'll find out.
Yes. Oh, God. Imagine that feeling. Another little unusual thing here. We have a powered windlass. And I say unusual because we're on a 25-foot boat, and usually the CQ out there you could use for a watch fob, you know. He has set up a chain stopper right here, and that's good. That'll keep the chain from running out and losing the anchor overboard right here. Here's your chain, okay? Yeah. There's two port light deck lights up here, which they did on a couple of boats. They did them on some O'Days, and again, remember, this is a Ray Hunt O'Day designer who did this, and I think they like that. Just gives you a little extra free light below deck. And these are the inexpensive plastic ones. On high level yachts, you'll find glass prisms in there that will send a ton of light below deck. All right, let's see if we can get under this, do the limbo. How was that?
Let's give it an 8.5.
We have a fan here that's going to help extract air from the boat, and that's run by the sun. I can see a nice size framework here for the Dodger, and this Dodger has side curtains that will go back and really cover you up in the cockpit.
Cool.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice boat. The non-skid is not terribly aggressive. It's all molded in. It'll help you slow down on the way over the side. Why don't you say you join me below?
Sounds good, yeah.
Okay. Renee,
Hey.
you coming down, buddy? Okay, here we are. Once more, we join up below decks on a really interesting boat. It's beamy. It's really beamy. And look, they've taken the time to put a little ceiling wood on here to warm it up inside. It's got all brand new cushions. Now, speaking of the cushions, what do we like about we see of these cushions?
Oh, that they're stowed for the winter at home.
Well, right. We've asked and suggested that people, whenever they can, pull off all the cushions, anything that's going to grab moisture or little bugs or sweat or something. Take it home and get it out of the boat and be done with it. It'll help you clean out the boat, too. You'll find stuff underneath the cushions. This boat is not like some of the other 25-footers that are really just to sort of design to sail around your neighborhood. That this has really been built to go offshore. And it feels like it. Things like, look at the hand grab rails above. We like seeing that. We don't see that too often in smaller boats. Our sails are all relatively new within the last 10 years or so. The engine on this boat is a 30 horsepower Yanmar.
Oh, wow.
So you can also water ski behind this boat. It has no pressure water on board except for the shower in the cockpit. I lost a finger on one of these tables.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Oh, we like that. That was pretty slick, wasn't it?
That was record time.
What a nice table. Look at the finish on this table. It's really a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not just veneer.
Now, this is a shallow bilge. Because it's shallow, the boat heels over. That water has to find its way someplace to the side. It will find its way up into the cavern. So it pays to keep this very dry, even to the point of sponging out the last remnants. Take it 5 minutes to sponge it out.
Just because all of that will just go up.
The boat heels over. It's just going to try and find
your clothes.
Find your clothes. Look at the bolts in here. Some pretty heavy-duty bolts down there, driven. They're stainless, I would assume, from the appearance of them. And they've been in there, again, themselves for 45 years. So this boat looks pretty pristine. The mast is keel stepped. That means it comes through a hole up here and right down to the keel, and it's going to be rock solid. And it's braced there and it braced as it comes through the cabin top. The Tanzer Corporation, apparently, when they took the same mold and built a similar boat, put the mast on deck. And
so deck stepped.
Deck stepped. So it's a little saving in cost. Not the end of the world, but just something to think about. If you had a choice between the two boats,
I'd pick keel stepped.
You'd probably go with the keel step, yeah. With the galley aft, we've got an Arrigo alcohol stove right here, 2-burner stove. Your sandwich making, look at the expansive counter space we now have in a 26-footer. I don't know how you do it. Let me turn around here because Randall just noticed we have a microwave right here. And where's it open? Look at that. Boom. A microwave. And there's a 1,500-watt inverter on board. So you can run that anywhere you go.
Oh yeah, there's your beefy inverter.
There's your inverter down below. And here is your refrigerator. So that's pretty nice, isn't it? So it's quite a galley workout. And all these little things are not inexpensive. It's got a this must be his radar unit right here. Yep. There's his Faruna radar unit. Now we're told that the dome has been bumped into or something, so it may need to be worked on. But this is what we did in the old days, is set up rigs like this so you could swing this whole thing, boom, 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 so you could read it in the cockpit. Again, the helmsman has this. He's got the GPS up there, radar. He's all set, single-handed, ready to go. Here's his 120-volt system here. They do have a foot pump right there, like so. And I think they only carry about 45 gallons of water.
Okay.
I think it was at one point before they put in the new refrigerator.
Oh.
So
maybe that is the wine cellar.
That is the wine cellar. It has a drain to it, too, if you've chilled your wines.
Do you do that?
What?
Chill your wines?
Oh, I always chill my wines. And we have, oh, God, same old guy. Some sailors just can't give it up, right? It's quite the room in here. I mean, you could almost hold a dance. Speak to me, dog. It's a diverter valve right here.
Okay.
And that's for his holding tank, which is right there.
Oh,
How convenient.
And that's like an inflatable bladder tank?
It's a inflatable rubber bladder tank for inflating with gray water.
Gotcha. Gray or black?
Black water. Depends on what you had for dinner. Headroom. Oh, you asked about headroom. I'm not going to say a word for a minute. Look. Silence. Look. Clearance at 6'1".
Yeah, for a 26-footer, that's pretty unusual, right?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. It's crazy. We have a thwartship head, and we've seen these before, and they're likable because it gives you a very big head. So when you close the door, the flush is right there behind, and there's a hanging locker behind that. There's a hand pump on the sink and storage underneath. And you do have 2 opening ports in here, which is very polite.
Plus a hatch for...
Plus a hatch. Yeah, the big main hatch is right overboard there. And that's pulling hot air out of here right now. Now here's our classic V-berth up here. This is good size up here. Should we give it a try?
If you're willing to without cushions.
I can spin easily. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, look at that. I can't reach the other end. This is pretty rough. 26 feet now. How good is this?
Pretty great.
I think it's very good.
Even better with some cushions. But
It would be wonderful with the cushion.
Sorry, I'm not helpful.
I'd be happy for a cushion. I'm not even asking for a pillow today. And she has a molded headliner all the way throughout the whole boat, which is great for cleanup. It's just never going to smell. You're just going to be able to wipe it down with a wet rag and a little 409 or something at the end of your weekend, and the boat will be sparkly clean. Oh, can I stay here?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. No pillow, no cushion. Forget about it, Jack. That's not in the contract. Let me out.
Bye.
The boat is loaded with gear.
Yeah.
It's everything you need. You need to get down here, take a look at it, clean it up, clean off all the electrical contacts, and then splash the boat in the water and get going because she's ready to go.
I got a question for you.
Oh, yes.
Is this the best bang for the buck we've seen?
Yeah, it's a great buy. It's certainly the best bang for a buck. I think it's going to float because I see bottom paint on it, so this is a floater. Another 10 for Paceship, good work. I'm going to give him 15 now on top of all that because of all the equipment on board. So we're up to, 35?
Yep.
And she's been well maintained. I'm going to give her another 4 for that.
Okay, 39.
39. So there she is. But this is so close to the water, it's tempting just to push it in, isn't it?
Let's go.
If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes a little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.